Hi, Harper. I wanted to give you some feedback on your story about body diversity. I think it's going to need a little bit of work if you want to see it published. It's got some kind of problems with clarity. I'm not understanding um, some of the quotes in particular. I think it needs a little help with transitions. Let's talk about the lead. Well, let's first look at the headline. UNL Fashion Magazine opens the idea. I don't think opens is really the word you're looking for. Maybe promotes or encourages. Opens is just a little bit of an odd word to use in that situation. Um, okay, so your lead, I think we talked about this in class. General leads are really kind of bothersome to me. I think it takes a long time for people to kind of figure out what you're really talking about. And what you're really talking about here is what's happening at UNL. But instead, you've kind of talked about something that's happening in general. And it just kind of delays the news of this, the lead. And I think you could refashion it to say, to start out with a campus fashion magazine run by students is doing this. And then you can say it's part of a trend that's been building nationally. In the fashion industry, you know, maybe they're trying to overcome those, rectify the fact that the fashion industry has been to blame. Weaving it in later, I just wouldn't start with this. I'd start with the campus fashion magazine is doing this, or wants to do this, or is trying to buck the trend, the national trend, something like that. You call it, I realize you call it a magazine all the way through, but isn't it really on the web? And I think you need to maybe say online magazine. You say on campus. I don't really know what that is. Um, um, and I tried to make this sentence be a little clearer. You said something only been publishing for a little over 2 years with their second year on the web. Why don't we just say in its second year? It is focusing the season on a new goal to be more diverse. Okay, and then this was the one of several quotes that didn't make any sense to me. A great idea that was brought up was doing a diversity column. And although that one would have been ethnically, that could easily translate to a body type article or a body type column. I don't think anyone really is going to understand that. It's also a quote from the video, which is a little bit bothersome to me. We want kind of the video to talk about something different, give another layer. Okay, then you say reflecting a healthy consumer will not only benefit the magazine, but hopefully the readers. I don't know what that means to say. I don't know. You just need to explain that. I don't get that. Reflecting a healthy consumer will not only benefit the magazine. How does it benefit the magazine? I mean, what are you really trying to say here? You need to be really clear. And then you have, according to Joel Miller, a writer for Ad Media and an advocate for healthy living, says. So you have according to and says, so that's kind of double attribution. Teens and young adults should educate themselves about health, having a healthy body. Why are we quoting him? Did you talk to him personally? I guess it just needs to fit in better, stronger transition or something. If you didn't talk to him personally, you need to say where the information came from. You need to cite it, as you do in the next couple of studies and things. Most models weigh an average of an average 23% less than other women. Who said that? What's the source? In another study, what's the source? What study? Can you link to any of these things? That's the other thing. If this is online, man, we should be linking to it. Eating disorders has skyrocketed. Who said? I noticed this throughout. You have said Gillen, said whoever. It's always the noun verb. Gillen said. The magazine is currently making a final spreadsheet of all models. I don't know what that means, so explain that. And then this quote doesn't make any sense either. Promoting diversity because this is a diverse campus, like ethnically, body size, and also gender. I want more male models. That's just very kind of out there. And doesn't really make sense. I think what you really need to do is kind of step back and be sure you're editing the story and reading it out loud and that it makes sense and really thinking about what you want to say. I feel like this was kind of I don't think you gave it a good read. So that's really important to do. Okay, we're going to talk about the video now. Hang on just a minute. Okay, the problem with a video, first off, is it's shot vertically. I know it was shot on an iPhone, and that's fine, but I'm pretty sure we talked about shooting in landscape mode is really important on for video. Maybe you weren't there that day, I'm not sure. It's also just sort of odd to have these mannequins, different looks of mannequins, without knowing who's talking.
One idea that was tossed around was a diversity edition, so both diversity ethnically and body-wise, which I think is a fabulous idea. Doing different columns or lookbooks or student spotlights, videos.
I would maybe have her start to talk and then you could do the mannequins, but I think it's just better to see who's talking and we can identify her.
So both diverse.
I'm not sure if you identified her.
Doing different columns or lookbooks or student spotlights, videos of how individual people are, like styling themselves. And another really great idea that was brought up was starting a diversity column.
So if she's kind of talking about her staff, okay, here's what I would actually do. So that these B-roll make
while
sense.
That one initially might have been ethnically.
I would just start it with a and unfortunately because this is shot vertically it's hard to see, but show the whole staff and maybe have something that says collective culture staff meeting such and such day. So show just a couple of that, then show Maura, and then you can show some of the other B-roll. It will make sense then.
Something that I'd like to do
and I would honestly just not, I would include this stuff in the story, but I wouldn't include it in the video. It's just it's not clear. It's shot from far away. I would maybe say in a meeting, the editor said this, so you can use that, but I would just end it with her last quote and then use the B-roll from the meeting. if that makes sense. But yeah, part of the problem, this kind of was odd, unless we get the perspective, of these people before. And I like that you got close-ups. That's really good. Um, uh, and like I said, I would incorporate all of this in the story. I might maybe could replace some of the quotes that you have in the story. But the main thing is it should have been shot horizontally. I'm not going to take off for that. I think that should be pretty obvious, though. Um, but I do think it's a little kind of disjointed the way uh, it's edited. So let me know if you have any questions. Those are my thoughts.